Hey, welcome back, everyone. And for those joining us for the first time, thank you for clicking on the link and listening in. Today, we're talking about the giant size Amazing Spider Man Chameleon Conspiracy #1. That is a mouthful. Man, this one was a disappointment, honestly. I don't even remember what rating. I don't think I gave it a rating. No, looking at my notes, I'm going to have to think about that. But it answers some questions. Unfortunately, they're disappointing answers. Um, it's a good story. I'll give it that. I'll give it the fact that it's a good story. It's just not what I wanted, and so therefore I'm disappointed. But also, it does. I just don't see how this is all gonna wrap up in 4 issues. I think Nick Spencer's run is done in 74. The next issue is 70. So 70 to 1, 2, 3, 5 issues. I don't know how all these questions and stuff is gonna wrap up in 5 issues. Um, this so let's just go ahead and move on to the cover. As you can see, we got Chameleon just sitting there with all his different masks. um it's a pretty good cover. We've seen that. It's like an homage, I guess, to, I don't know who did it first, but I've seen this type of covers before, even on a Spider-Man. They did it on the Craven run, in Nick Spencer's run, the Hunted storyline. They did it in the Spider-Verse storyline in 2014. I mean, it's a trope. It's good though. I like it. He's holding Spider-Man's mask there, and that has nothing to do with the story. That literally they don't talk at all. But it starts off with Spider-Man summarizing who the Hobgoblin is, who Ned Leeds is. They're going up to the ship with Chance and Foreigner. He's trying to get back Jamie and the Clairvoyant and the Catalyst, but he summarizes basically that Ned was brainwashed to think that he was the Hobgoblin. He was killed by the Foreigner. He was set up by the original Hobgoblin, Roderick Kingsley. All these things just to summarize a little bit. So to basically say that he's taking an old frenemy to this mission. Um, it's weird, and it should be like a little red flag for Peter that Ned is able to find this invisible flying fortress, but Spider-Man wasn't. Spider-Man's the one that has the heightened senses, but Ned is the one that points it out and says, "Hey, it's over there. Trust me." And sure enough, it is. So they go in to get the. Oh, they go in at the exact moment that Jack O' Lantern had basically revealed himself to be working for the Finisher. And it's chaos, everything. There's a bunch of different chameleons. They revealed themselves to be chameleons, and Jack O' Lantern himself in the last issue. I didn't realize this, but he was another chameleon, and this is. If you know, please reach out, send me a message or anything. I am confused. Are these chameleon clones, or are they just a bunch of different people that have the chameleon's abilities to change into whoever they need to be? I don't understand. Is that a clone? I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around it. But the Jack O' Lantern that we saw with Finish or Foreigner and um, Chance when they were talking about the clairvoyant, that was I'm gonna say clone just because and I may be wrong. So just a little uh, just so you know, I don't know if it's a clone, but I'm calling it a clone. Um, Either way, that Jack O' Lantern was a clone of Chameleon, and he was stealing the stuff. He was working for the Finisher the whole time. Um, the original Jack O' Lantern is there, and he's like, "Oh man, this is bad for my brand." So that's pretty funny. Uh, Ned, as soon as they get in, as soon as Spider-Man opens the door for them and they see all this chaos, Ned says, "All right, you go do what you're gonna do. I have something to take care of." That's red flag #2. Like, what is he talking about? Why would he need to take care of something? Yeah, he's writing this story and all this stuff, but like, what would he need to do in this fortress, right? But and I think Spider-Man does acknowledge it. He's like, "Oh, okay, that doesn't bode very well for me, but I got things to do." So he goes and he takes off. Um, I love Slide in this. They go straight into Foreigner telling Slide to go get Jamie. He needs to either get the Jamie and he needs to get the Catalyst or the Clairvoyant, one of the other. And Slide is just sitting there. I think he was sipping some tea or something. He's like, "You hired me to bring the Catalyst, and you have the Catalyst now. You had it. It's not my fault that you lost it. If you want my services, you're gonna have to pay me." And very very smoothly. And Foreigner is just not in the mood for it, but so he's just like, I'll double your pay. Go get him now. And so he gets up. He's like, perfect, good to go. So he goes and tries to find Jamie. Um, then we move back to Chameleon's past. We see where he was found by the God, Finisher and Foreigner are throwing me off. He's found by the Finisher at the Kravinoff estate. Um, the Finisher takes him in, leaves his brother Sergey, Sergey behind. Uh, Basically, he notices the potential in Chameleon Dimitri, and raises him to be basically anyone he can be. Like literally, the sky's the limit. Um, when they go into the training area of where he learned all these abilities, Teresa recognizes the location. She recognizes the classroom, and so she's slowly starting to put together. Maybe she's a not a obviously. Again, maybe she's a clone. You know what? I'm just gonna say clone. It could be the opposite of it, where she is just a what's it called? A recruit. Maybe she's a chameleon recruit, right? Um, but she's refusing to believe it. She's like denying it as much as he can. Chameleon's obviously laughing. He's like, "Oh yeah, well we don't know you. Like we raised you to believe in totality what you need to believe. If you are this character, if you are Teresa Parker, you truly believe you are Teresa Parker, right?" Um, it took. I think he mentioned that it took him a long time to get out of that mind state of he is who he is, and he does know that he's chameleon, like um, Dimitri, but he has he worked hard to get out of like not knowing who he is. Basically, whenever he goes into a persona, he knows what he's doing. He's in full control. Um, After this realization, basically, Finisher, reveals that what you were trained here. This is what you were made to do. Now I need you to go get the clairvoyant and bring it back to me. And she is confused. She's like, why would I do that? Why would I help you? And he's like, you're gonna do it because it's your job, it's your mission. And she just really is thrown by all of this, and she doesn't accept the mission, but she doesn't refuse it either. She's just confused. um, Back on the ship though, Spider-Man finally gets the catalyst and the clairvoyant, and he goes to Jamie and asks for help. He's like, I need you to power this up. And he also, in that same process, Jamie agrees to help. Of course, he realizes his wrongdoings, and he's gonna help Spider-Man as best as he can. But uh, then Spider-Man stops Ned from killing Finisher. So Ned does have a personal vendetta against Finish or not Finisher, Foreigner, and he Foreigner killed him. Foreigner killed Ned. So it's at this point, it's like, is this really Ned? Because he does have this personal vendetta against him. So it gives you the sense that that is the true Ned, even though Clone Conspiracy like, kind of confirmed that he came back to life. It's a lot going on here, but he caught the Foreigner, and he's punching him, and he's knocked him down, and he's giving these finishing blows until he's about to give the final one. Spider-Man shows up, and he stops him, and then he kind of like looks, and this is almost fake as well because he was in the zone, and then when Spider-Man shows up in the room, he's like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" Or, like, it's just kind of like he's acting. I don't know. I don't trust Ned. I don't trust him whatsoever. I think he is another chameleon clone slash recruit, but he doesn't know it because he's got that intense training that he thinks he truly is the real Ned. I don't think that he is. I think he's a recruit clone. Um, Jamie does go into action trying to stop the crash, but he lets Spider-Man know, like, the only way to survive this, there's a lot of different possibilities, but every single one ends in a crash. The only way to survive this one, I need someone to go and pull the ship up. So Spider-Man volunteers for that as Ned stays behind to watch over Jamie. So people are coming in trying to stop them, but Ned is doing a pretty good job. He's got a gun and shooting anybody, any chameleon recruits or anything like that coming in. He's taking care of them, but he is slowly getting overwhelmed. Um, but of course, at the end of the day, Spider-Man saves the day. He pulls up just in time. He was about to hit this one guy who was gardening his hydrangeas. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Please, just overlook what I just said. But um, he just barely pulls it up to where he doesn't hit that guy at all. And the guy kind of looks up and he's like, "If you would have hit my hydrangeas, like I would have gone after you, even though it's like you would have died, man." But I put a little note here saying that I believe that's going to be a villain alert, man, a new villain alert. Because look at it, he's talking about hydrangeas. If you look at that word, the first word is Hydra. He's over here talking about you. I would have gone after you. I'm just saying, there's a thread there. There's a thread there for a new villain. I'm just kidding, of course, but it was a pretty funny spot. Like I can't believe that he would even say that. He almost died. But anyways, moving on. They do crash land on like a little. I don't want to say island. I don't know. It's just off in the land somewhere. Um, Jamie does give the clairvoyant to Spider-Man. He says, I can't be trusted with this. No one should be really trusted with this, but since I don't know what to do, I'm going to give it to you. You're better than me, so here you go. And Spider-Man turns around and gives it to his sister. And he says, I don't know what to do with this, but you are a super spy. You know all about secret places, so you probably know a better spot to hide this. And I'm just at first it kind of looked like he was giving it to Ned, so I'm glad he didn't give it to Ned. I don't know why he would give it to Ned, but he gave it to his sister, and that is just so dumb. I can't explain to you why I think that's so dumb, but it's your new sister. You've probably known her in story in like your canon in your timeline. Probably known her a year. That's so many more people. Fantastic Four. Reed Richards. So many Captain America. God, go with any of them. Don't give it to just your sister. I don't know. That was ridiculous. But he gives it to her, and at this point, you're thinking, oh no, she's there. We didn't see what happened between her and the finisher and Chameleon. Is she on their side or not? Is she gonna take this to them? She doesn't. She ultimately decides I am who I am, and I know the truth about myself, and so she destroys the clairvoyant, which it's actually I prefer that solution, but I don't know if that's as clear as it's gonna be. But she destroys it. That's good. Then we go over to Silver Sable, who's looking great. She's walking around. She's going into her plane. She's fully recovered, and I think she finally realizes that Foreigner is not the guy for her. So she pretty much takes all the money back, um, drains his accounts. He finds out, and he's blaming Spider Man. He's like, "This is Spider Man for sure, for sure. This is Spider Man. Couldn't possibly couldn't possibly be Silver Sable." Um, but he'll find out soon enough, I guess. But luckily, she came to her senses about that. Um, then at the end of this, we get the Sinister War kind of tie-in again. Kindred visits Chameleon Dimitri in his cell. Which again, why is Dimitri still in his cell? I don't know. I don't get that. But he Kindred visits him and is begging for a serum, and like, what's the serum for? We haven't heard of this. Obviously, this is going to lead into Sinister War, which is great. It does open that thread up, so I'm happy about that. But he is looking weak for the first time. I mean, obviously he got caught and he was under Kingpin and Norman for a bit. He was in that cell, I guess, but he didn't look weak. He was just caught. He was a prisoner. Here he's looking pretty weak. He's asking for a serum. He needs the serum to stay. I don't know. I don't get it. But then he like Chameleon kind of makes a snarky remark towards him, and that's when he like gets pretty angry. He just kind of puffs his chest, has these little worms or whatever that he carries, the centipedes, and he's like, "Watch yourself," what you know, and but Chameleon's just laughing. So that's interesting. It's a good thing to look forward to for Sinister number one, Sinister War number one. And the last bit is just Otto recruiting Craven, which last time we saw Craven was in that Hunted storyline that I can remember. And this is like the Craven clone that killed the original. I don't know, man. That's so twisted and convoluted. I'm not going back to read it, but I think the original is dead, and this is the clone, the superior clone of Craven, and Otto is able to recruit him by promising the lizard, and it shows the lizard, or it shows Doc Connors just kind of in his human form, um, messing with some, doing sciencey stuff. I don't know, but he promises the lizard. So obviously the lizard is gonna be coming to play for the Sinister War, but how? He's got that inhibitor chip, so something's gonna happen there. Otto's obviously gonna do something there. Um, are they gonna work together and then he's gonna double cross? I don't know. All I know that is that this is the end of this arc, and it's the beginning of the end for Nick Spencer, which I wanted to give him so much hope. I hate to talk crap about him, but he brings it upon himself, honestly, and this is just another reason. I don't like the fact that he made Teresa a possible chameleon clone slash recruit. I was just getting over the fact that she was Peter Parker's sister. So like just getting that into my brain, like saying, okay, accept it, and now we get this. I didn't like that. Um, I'd say give it a 7.5 out of 10, just because it was entertaining. It did give some twists and turns. I was looking forward to the next one. Honestly though, with Nick Spencer, it's like I'm looking forward to the ending. Like I'm not looking forward to whatever story he's talking about. I'm just looking forward to him finishing all these threads that he's laid out. So I'm glad that he's gonna end and we're gonna get Spider-Man Beyond. But this story itself, just trying to be as unbiased as possible, self-contained, is a 7.5. It's entertaining enough, you know. But moving on past that, before I wrap up here, I do want to say thank you for watching. As always, make sure that you follow on Instagram for any additional content, like comic book content. I do little reviews there with panels, with pictures of the panels inside. Um, Make sure you subscribe, follow here, any podcast platform that you listen to. I'm sure that I'm on there as well. Manny Reads Comics, and if you want to join me as a guest or anything like that, I don't know if you listen to my Shadecraft review. I did it with Omni City Comics. He's a great guy. His name's Carlos. He jumped in here. We talked about it. I did my recap, and he told me basically we just did a back and forth of what we thought of the issue. So if there's an issue that you ever want to talk about or anything like that, reach out to me. Let me know. Preferably sooner rather than later, but of course, and we can make it happen. And that'd be fun. I had a great time when he joined. I'm sure I'll have a great time with anybody else. So throwing that out there for anybody. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. See you later.